How's it going, everyone? This is Kevin. Today I want to bring along with me to talk about the Sony A7 IV and do my updated review after owning it for 6 months. So let's jump right into it. After owning the A7 IV after a couple months now, probably a little bit over the 6-month period now, I thought it would be a great time to give you more of my likes and dislikes when it comes down to this camera. My goal with this video is hopefully it'll help you decide if this is the right camera for you, since I get asked a lot if they should go with the A7 IV or the Sony A7S3, or if they should probably get something else. So just want to give you my personal experience and see if it helps you out. Up first, we're going to talk about what I like about this camera. This camera's autofocus is something that I really do enjoy. Having the options with having the human, the animal, and the bird eye autofocus has been really phenomenal when it comes down to photos and videos. It's helped me out to create a lot of great content and make sure that I take great photos when it comes down to my subjects, so I'm not missing the focus point when it comes down to those shots, so that I can deliver the best photos that I can. Another thing is the video capabilities of this camera is quite great when it comes down to it. It can shoot the 4K 24 frames all the way up to 60, even with the crop. And that's also having, the S&Q mode for the 120 frames per second for 10 color bit. Even though it's 1080p, it's still fine with me. Now, tying it with the video capabilities, I love that it's a 10-bit color. The A7 III didn't have that, which was kind of not the worst case scenario, but if you're going to be doing a lot of video and you're going to have to be doing a lot of color grading, having 10-bit color is quite phenomenal, because a lot of things can fall apart quick if you don't have it. Going back from my experiences with the A7 III to the A7 IV now, and even the A7S3, the 10-bit color is just a huge thing for me that I truly enjoy. You get to have the S-Log 3 and S-Cinetone, which a lot of people like the S-Cinetone since you're having to do minor kind of adjustments and the colors are looking really nice out of camera. For me, my personal one has been the S-Log 3, since that's what I use for my color grading and my personal LUTS that I've created for myself. They just help out really just to get some good color. Another thing that I really enjoy is a 33 megapixel sensor of this camera. For photos, it's been phenomenal when it comes down to it, because it's not overload when it comes down to like how the A7R3 that I used to have with the 42 megapixels, and now the A7R4 as well with 61 megapixels. It's not really something I really care to have too much of, but it's really nice to have that extra bit if you want to crop. So it's been pretty good for me, because I like to have the option if I need to crop a little bit. I don't really care to use the APS-C mode of the camera when it comes down to photo, but you can use it for video as well, since have the extra megapixels and you're not losing too much of the quality that way either. Another thing that's really good if you're into the video or even different kinds of portraits is just having the flip out screen, so that you can make sure that you're taking videos or photos perfectly if you're doing now the vertical mode for videos as well as portraits when it comes down to your photography. I honestly thought that it would be something that I wasn't going to be really a fan of, but I'm really enjoying that flip out screen quite a bit. But despite the hate of the flippy screen, do enjoy it, so I'm so happy with it. It's a very like for me, because I used to have to do a little mirror thing before and it was just not fun, so plus up on that end. And lastly, the one thing that I really do love about the Sony line in reality with the A7 IV is just having the Sony lenses that you can get, and also the third-party ones. I mainly use third-party with the Tamron 35-150 and the 17-28, and it's worked just wonderful. I mean, I've done a lot of videos about the lens setup, so you probably have seen one hopefully, and if you haven't, you can check them out. But you get a lot more options than most companies, like with Canon and even Nikon. So it's kind of nice to be able to have those options when it comes down to lenses, to make sure that you get just the better bang for your buck. Now we're going to talk about the dislikes of this camera. There isn't many dislikes, but I'll kind of cover some of them that I really just think would be kind of common for most, I'm assuming, because I've seen it. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell you them. I've made a video about it before, but it's about testing the rolling shutter when it comes down to the A7 IV. It is a big kind of deal if you're really panning hard and doing all that crazy stuff. You can kind of see in the minor stuff sometimes, even if you're just kind of panning a little bit. It's not horrible, but it is something that I know people don't like. So that's something I dislike myself as well. Even when I was shooting some videos when I was in Europe and using this camera only for when I didn't want to kind of go back and forth, it was a little bit kind of, because of being kind of like a perfectionist, you kind of notice certain things. So that's one of the reasons why, like, to me, it can kind of bother me sometimes compared to my Sony A7S3. But if it's not that big of a deal for you and you can want to save like about $1,000, well, then this is still pretty good for you. A thing I kind of dislike still, even though I'm okay with it now, is just the 4K 60 crop. I honestly don't get why they went that route, because it just doesn't make sense for me. And even with that being said, it's just the 1080p 120 frames per second doesn't make sense. I didn't even try to do like a 4K at 8-bit, and then if you want to do 10-bit, keep it at 1080, just to kind of give a little bit how the successor was whenever they had the A7S2. The A7 III had about the same, you know, sensors and everything, like options that the other one had. But still kind of compromised with it. I'm okay with it. But the thing that I really wish, that I'm not really sure why they didn't do, that you can only get 10-bit color with the S&Q, just kind of a little bit annoying. And, you know, I guess for another thing that just kind of came to mind, it would have been kind of cool to just have a like 2.7K 120 frames per second, just like a little middle ground. I don't know, but it's a dislike to a certain degree. I know people aren't the biggest fan of it, so just kind of not the most excited for it either. And another dislike that I haven't had too much of, but I know other people have, and it can get annoying I'm assuming if you're having to deal with it, is the overheating. The overheating for me hasn't been an issue, except it's only been 2 times that I've had some sort of like overheating warning, and then one where it actually shut down. The one time when it shut down, it was really when I was using it as a webcam, that I was using it with my computer to, you know, do a Zoom meeting, and then it just shut down on me. My A7S III has never done it, but that was when I first got the camera. The other time I got a warning, I was shooting quite a bit more, and I started getting that little like flashing little light or whatever that comes into like the screen. And then what I did was just change the sensitivity of the heat index, if you will, and it just worked out fine. So I haven't had it ever since. So it is a dislike, because it sucks if your camera just shuts down. I didn't really enjoy when that happened, but luckily, at least for now, it seems like it's okay with changing just the sensitivity of it. And that's basically it when it comes down to the likes and dislikes with this camera. Overall, I would recommend it personally, because I've enjoyed it a lot. I use it almost daily whenever I'm creating these videos for you guys, when I'm taking photos or videos. Sometimes I just use this for video, sometimes I use my A7S III, and I haven't had any issues. I really think this is a very phenomenal hybrid camera. You get to do really great video and photo, and it's something that you can just use for anything of professional use, even if you're more of a cinematographer kind of style person, or if you're really just shooting portraits and then some video. This will always have really good autofocus, in my honest opinion, and have a lot of good things coming your way for the price point. Plus, the biggest one I think you'll be is the lens selection with this camera. I think you'll be good with that. So that alone is a really big sale for me. So yeah, can't recommend this camera enough. This is just my personal opinion after 6 months of, well, I guess it's been a little bit longer since I got it, like late December, but let's just go with about 6 months. I guess now, yeah, it should be 6 months of owning this camera. I've been using it, took it around Europe, worked out perfectly. Can't recommend it enough. So if this is your calling to finally get it, you're welcome to, you know, push yourself to the limit and actually go for it. Everything of my gear that I use is down below in the description. I do get a small kickback from it, but if you do choose to support the channel that way, to going through the Amazon links, affiliate links that I have, I do appreciate that. It's at no extra cost to you. But everything that I own and use daily for these videos, it'll be there. So if you're wondering what type of, you know, gear that I use, what lenses and everything, it'll be down below in the description for you to look at. But with all that said and done, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, share this video with a friend. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.